milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different projects, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes building pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp station, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrator has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research, with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents. CNOOC, in collaboration with heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. CNOOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
CNOOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp-integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. CNOOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to CNOOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
CNOOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and CNOOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
CNOOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
To sponsor us who are underdogs and they want to put us somewhere, we thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
CNOOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. CNOOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
CNOOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
To the CNOOC Online Enterprise Development Program. I am your host, Michael Oira, once again, and today is day 3 of this training. We thank you for always being here online, watching us live and learning from the experts. And today will just be like the other past 2 days. We have an expert here who will be taking us through a lot of training concerning, today we are learning about EFRIS. We will be learning about auditing and some other topics that will come in later. And remember, this was organized by CNOOC basically to make sure that you people out there in your SMEs learn quite a number of things that you really need to be able to do business with CNOOC and other companies that are in the oil and gas sector. So today, we still have Mr. Senoga Robert, who was with us in the past 2 days, teaching us about taxation. We have learned about income tax. We have learned about a number of taxes. And today we will be learning about a topic that everyone has been really interested in, which is EFRIS. Very many people out there think EFRIS is a tax. Very many out there in Chikugo think EFRIS is a burden to them, and they have been complaining. I remember there is a time when everyone was almost demonstrating because of EFRIS, because they thought it is a tax. And even up to today, very many people think EFRIS is a tax. But here, we have an expert. Mr. CNOOC works with SRS. It's a company that does auditing, and it does also, it works on advisories on taxation. So I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. CNOOC. You are welcome, Mr. CNOOC, for day 3. I think our viewers will really benefit from this training, especially those that have SMEs out there. So you are welcome for this session. I hope everyone out there will enjoy this session and they will learn more from you about EFRIS. And I think from you we will learn whether EFRIS is still, we'll learn whether EFRIS is a tax in this first hour. So you are welcome, Mr. CNOOC.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. As he has said, my name is Robert CNOOC, here to take you through EFRIS, basic accounting and basic auditing. As he has told you, I'm the practitioner at SRS, Robert and Associates, one of the audit firms in Uganda. We shall go straight to our first topic, that is EFRIS. So the letters are E, F, R, I, S, where E is electronic, F is fiscal, R is receipting, I is invoicing system. So basically, that is the abbreviation that make up this thing. It is called EFRIS. So this solution of invoicing was introduced in Uganda in the year 2021. Compared to the regionals, compared to other countries in the region, Kenya and Tanzania started it in 2020. Rwanda started it in 2013. So we are the last implementers of EFRIS. So basically, EFRIS is about electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing. So here we have one component which is receipting. This is done for non-VAT registered persons. So if you are supplying a company and it wants EFRIS, don't say that I'm not VAT registered, so I'm not produce a receipt. No, EFRIS as a receipting solution for non-VAT persons and an invoicing solution that works for VAT persons. So the major difference between a receipt and an invoice is a receipt doesn't have VAT component, whereas an invoice has a VAT component. So first of all, that is something we need to first understand before we drill into what this animal called EFRIS really mean. So it provides two solutions. So it is a solution for each and every business owner. Be it a sole proprietorship, be it a small company, be it what, everyone was catered for into this solution. So it is not unique to Uganda. It is in Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and other very many developed countries. Okay? Yeah, that is something I would like to highlight most. Then, yeah, what is it? EFRIS is just a digital, it's just a digital tax system designed to record transactions at real time. Okay? Basically, that's it. It is just a digital tax system designed to record transactions at real time. When it happens, it is recorded. When it happens, it is recorded. Remember, on our first day, I told you about documentation. So URA came up with this system to deal with documentation. As it happens, it is recorded. As it happens, it is recorded. At the point of purchase, someone gives you an IFRS invoice or receipt, it is recorded. So when you're also selling, when you're VAT registered, you produce an invoice. When you're non-VAT registered, you produce a receipt. So basically, it's all about, it is a system designed to ensure that your records are up to date, real, and authentic. Yeah, so IFRS, that is what it does. So here, you have to be very careful, especially when it comes to stock. That is where the catch-24 is, because when you buy stock, the units that you've brought are already in the system. So at selling, make sure you also sell through IFRS. Otherwise, penalties will start biting you. So basically, this, when it happens, it is recorded. Whenever it happens, it is recorded. Okay? That is something we have to take note of. So you should be very conversant with the cycle. When you buy, it's recorded. When you sell, it's recorded at real time. Okay? That's why this system was introduced. It is digital. It is a digital tax system designed to record business transactions in real time as it happens. Okay? So by real time, we mean normally this system uses internet or data, but if you don't have internet, still there are avenues where you can be using it, but whenever you go where there is internet, you just synchronize, and then your transactions become real time. Okay, so the major point here deals with real time. So what are the core objectives of that solution that records transaction real time? Number one is to combat tax evasion and improve accuracy in tax reporting. So nowadays, before even you put in your return, the taxman is already aware of your sales and purchases. The only thing that is sometimes not recorded real time are now the expenses. But now this one, the major aim why it was brought up is to combat tax evasion. Remember, evasion is not allowed, but avoidance is allowed depending on how you utilize it. So it is mainly meant to improve tax evasion and improve accuracy in tax reporting. Okay? Number two, just like the above, it facilitates a transparent and fair tax environment. Transparent in the sense that when transactions are happening, they are recorded. Okay? And fair because you will not be hiding anything. And then two, you can easily seek for accountability from your suppliers when you tell them to give you an IFRS invoice. So there are no shortcuts here. So the IFRS system improves on transparency and fair tax environment, and also enables government to improve public service delivery. Because when transactions are recorded at real time, automatically the revenue mobilization and revenue expected has to go up, because there would be no time lag in ensuring compliance and also ensuring that all the transactions are recorded on time. So basically, those are the three major reasons why government through URA brought about the IFRS invoicing solution to promote fair taxation, improve on public service funding and delivery, among other objectives. Yeah, so from the objectives above, someone will say, but why IFRS? Why IFRS? The why is to tackle the long-standing issues of tax underreporting by ensuring that every transaction is recorded, authenticated, and stored centrally. So nowadays, there's no need of having alternatives, because as as we shall understand going forward, you find nowadays even our accounting systems are integrated into IFRS. So you find there is no escape route. Then another way is to prevent the issuance of fake receipts and discouraging fraudulent practices. By the way, it's an offense to give fake receipts to someone. If you've sold an item at 1 million, don't invoice that you've sold it at 500, because your customer now really will get this information coupled with the tax body. Then it enhances URA oversight by promoting consolidation, accurate records for economic activities. For example, before the introduction of this, people would just report whatever figures they have to the taxman. But now they can really know the activity that is going on at the company. That is why you see we have very many issues of where URA is instituting tax audit for previous years, especially starting from 2020 to date. You find they go back and give you assessment because this IFRS opened up their eyes. So they're like, why is he selling more after the introduction of IFRS? Yet previously the sales were low. So that's how they come up with those estimates and then give you assessments. So that is the major why. That is also a major why of why IFRS came into play. So just like any system, it has key features. What are those? What are the key features of this IFRS system? One, real-time data transmission. Okay, data now is transmitted at real time. When it happens, URA knows about it. Okay, so this business of saying today there are no sales and all that, here is the solution. When you record, it will just go straight to URA. Okay, that is a key feature about this system, and I think that is what they really wanted to achieve. Then two, it has multi-platform access. What do we mean by this? You can use the web portal, you can use the URA web portal. This is used when you make a few invoices a month, like 3 or 4 invoices. They still allow you to use the web portal. Okay, you go to the URA website, you go to where IFRS is, then you start invoicing your clients. But this is allowed for people with fewer transactions, because they also don't want their system to have so many transactions eating it at once. So for fewer people with fewer transaction volumes, this solution was introduced for you to manage that traffic. So they brought something for you. Then we have API integration. API is an application programming interface. So basically here you have your accounting system at your company that integrates with the URA system. So basically you buy your software. There are so many softwares. So when you buy that software here, it integrates to the URA portal. Here you can use a simple integration mechanism like post machines, or you can link your URA system to that of so you can link your ERP. ERP is enterprise resource planning software. So this is the software you see at your premise. So that one you link it with, you are using API. So the technical word is called API. So you can source you first source an ERP service provider, they install the software at your premise, then you interface with the URS system. So if you're making large volume transactions, you need an API integration. And so you might find they might give you penalties when you don't know this. You have to make sure you do this integration with the URS system if you are dealing with large volumes of transactions. Averagely, they say if you produce 4 invoices a day, you need the API integration. If you don't have enough resources, you can use simple tools like post machines, because these ones produce invoices that are integrated. If you go to supermarkets, this is very common. You will find post machines at every counter that they use to bill, and this information goes to URS. So here you have to be very careful. You have to know when to use a web application and when to use an API integration. Okay? So if you are having large volume transactions, volume can be when you're selling high volumes or the frequency. If you produce like 10 invoices in 1 hour, also you need an API integration. Okay? Then we have desktop applications. This allows transactions which sync to the system when back online. So the POS systems and your systems can do that. You give your client a freeze invoice, but when you get access to the internet, this system will properly synchronize with the URL port so they can get the data you've been working on. Okay, so don't say that you can't use eFreeze when you don't have internet. This can be used when you're offline, but you have to synchronize it. Whenever you access internet, you can easily synchronize with the system so that they can get your data. Then we have mobile USSD codes. These are people with very simple phones. These phones that produce sound when you're pressing them. You can also use the system. Then another key feature is data integrity. Guys, your data is encrypted because you start with your TIN, press your TIN password, then you get a OTP one time. You get your OTPs that will help you open this system. So your data is secure. Data encryption and security logins prevent tampering, ensuring that all stored data is reliable and confidential. However, we are not saying that you don't have backup. No, you should have backup for all your invoices you produce with the system, because you might be looking for something from the system and you have to log on, and sometimes you find they are very busy, you can't easily access your system. So your data is secure, depending, because they have like 3 or 2 checks, because you have to first log on your TIN. If you've logged on your TIN, then they send an OTP to either your email or your phone, so your data is secure. Then the final feature, it enhances business insights. eFreeze gives you all reports that you need, ranging from sales, daily sales, purchases, daily purchases, stock. You can easily know the amount of stock you have in your shop if you properly use eFreeze. And so previously people would not know the amount of stock they have, but now just log on to your eFreeze and then you know the amount of stock you have. And also, as a key takeaway, you have to make sure you reconcile your stock with what you have in your IFRS system, because this is the simplest audit query when it comes to IFRS. You will just come pick a few items. For example, if you're selling bags, the system is saying you have 10 bags, but in your stock you have 3 bags, so that 7 can be an audit issue. Then they start disturbing. So but this system has a feature that helps you in your data insights, because at a managerial level we expect you to be knowing the kind of reports and how to use them. So Business Insights provides business with comprehensive reports on sales, inventory, that will help you support decision making. And remember, you can access it anywhere. For example, if you're traveling, you can know the amount of stock you have. So that is a major business. That's a major feature with IFRS. Okay. So, having looked at all that, what is the detailed workflow when using this special system called IFRS? You have to start with initiating a business transaction. You normally use IFRS when you're processing a sale. You enter data like product, quantity, and price into the system. Okay? After you've entered a transaction, then you do there's what we call data transmission. IFRS encrypts and transmits transaction details to the URL servers. Okay, so when you initiate a transaction, you put it to the system, it will be transmitted automatically to the URL servers. Okay, then you have what we call verification process. URL verifies the transactions and generates a unique e-receipt if it is a receipt, or e-invoice code if it is an invoice. Okay, so you begin with initiating. So basically, if you don't do anything with this in the system, nothing will happen, but it all starts with you. So you have to make sure the people you've given you've given access, you trust them, to avoid things like, but I didn't sell this, who entered this into the system? Okay, so they assume it starts with you. That is why they send you OTPs. Whenever someone is logging onto your system, they will send you OTPs to make sure you confirm, to avoid anything like that. So they do data transmission and then verification process through giving you a unique e-receipt number or e-invoice code. Then finally, they issue the verified e-receipt or e-invoice is shared with the customer, ensuring improvement of the transaction. So if it is a B2B, business to business transaction, this receipt will pop into the customer's email. So the customer knows that you've done that transaction on their team. And if you've not, it will automatically show, because no email will pop into the client's email. Okay, so this is the key steps you should know. You should know that these invoices are issued to clients. So whenever you do a transaction and you don't see those transactions on your email, just know something is wrong with the person selling to you goods. So there's no need of you reminding them of giving you your invoice. No, you can easily find the invoice into your email. And also we encourage that you keep a copy of these invoices in a chronological order. Per day, you pile these invoices, per month, like that, so that we can follow through. If you are saying you have these invoices that are not yours, you can easily add you out of the case. Remember, it's about having evidence. When there's no evidence, you can never prove anything. That is why at least everything has evidence. An example, suppose you have a retail shop. Suppose a retail store processes a sale for a fridge, okay? If it records this sale and then submits it to URA, which then verifies it and issues an authentic e-invoice for customers. Or if you doubt your supplier, there are codes that you can use to check the authenticity of these invoices, okay? So I repeat, the process is initiate a transaction, data transmitted, the invoice is verified, and then it is issued. When it is issued, you have to get notification through your email, and you receive that invoice and you just keep it for further reference and use. So, having taken you through all the processes, the advantages, how it is initiated, having talked about what the difference between an invoice and a receipt, what are the benefits? Why should you use IFRIS? One is to enhance compliance. With IFRIS, you explain less. You talk less because IFRIS automates record keeping, minimizes errors of risks of manual errors, and reduce audits and penalties. So the major issue here I had forgotten: kindly make sure you are sober when you're producing IFRIS invoices, because getting a credit note is a tug of war. You have to write to them with a reason, then they think about it, then they get back to you, okay? Make sure you are sober when dealing with IFRIS. So you have to be very careful with the quality of your data entrance. Who are the people that you're using to capture your data, okay? Because when an invoice is produced, it is very hard. So even these customers who ask, who cross orders, you have to be very careful, because seeking a credit note is a tug of war. Then another benefit is accelerated VAT returns. Nowadays, whenever you produce an IFRIS invoice or you get an IFRIS invoice, it will either go to the output side or input side of your VAT ledger. So these days we do less on VAT returns. So IFRIS accelerated VAT returns, and therefore your refunds are really easy because the taxman knows. Other than prior, those days you would go, then you start explaining, I have these invoices, you bring them, they come and do audits and all that. But now everything is plain and easily understandable. Then it's simplified bookkeeping. If you're a small company and you can't afford accounting softwares, at least nowadays you can have some information via IFRIS. Okay. Another benefit is pre-filled tax returns. So these days you don't need to arrange those invoices like what we used to do previously. You would arrange those. You would arrange the invoices, then you record them somewhere, the supplier and all that. So nowadays we have pre-filled returns. So I think accountants these days are enjoying because of the coming of IFRIS. There is less work apart from monitoring how the IFRIS works. Then there is digital record storage. Same for the fiscal documents we encourage to use. This provides with a digital platform of storage. And also you can now easily convince your lenders, your suppliers, and all those people, because you readily have your data of how you've been transacting by the aid of IFRS. So those some of the advantages. Then promoting business competitiveness by enforcing compliance across businesses. IFRS helps you level the playing ground because everyone has the information, so they can easily know who is doing what. Yeah, we are almost ending. By who is required to use IFRS? You have those people that are supposed to use it, and those that can use it voluntarily. So the mandatory users are VAT registered businesses. Okay, if you're a VAT registered person, please go to your good friend IFRS. If you're a VAT registered person by law, no doubt IFRS should be your friend. You should get a way of befriending him. Then industries with high volume transactions, I have been telling you, if you have high volume transactions, we expect you to use IFRS regardless. So fueling stations, wholesalers, and certain service providers. So if you have high volumes, IFRS, you and IFRS, you should be at talking terms. Okay? So you have to be aware that this is your thing, embrace it. However, you can be a good corporate citizen, but when you have a small business, you can also use it voluntarily. Okay? Though not mandatory for non-VAT registered entities, small business can benefit from simplified compliance and reporting. Okay? If you're a person who likes to keep records, there you are. Use this man called IFRS. He is ready for you. So we have people who can use it voluntarily, and we have those that are mandated to use. Those are the industries and VAT registered persons. I'm putting much emphasis on this. If you're a VAT registered person on this platform and you've not embraced IFRS, it's not too late. Go to the man and register. Okay? Then legal foundation, we have the Tax Procedures Act. So basically, a few people know about this act, but it is a major act because it is where all the penalties and all the procedures for compliance are therein. So then, if you don't comply with the use of IFRS, there are significant fines or license suspension for failing to comply with IFRS requirements. So why should you reach that point? Please think of IFRS, get advice where necessary, and enroll IFRS into your business because it was designed for you. An example, a gas station or a large electronics retailer might use IFRS, must use IFRS to report all sales, but a small non-VAT registered cafe might use IFRS voluntarily for easier tax management. So the takeaway is here, you have to know which category you are in. Are you in a voluntary category or mandatory category? 2, are you using IFRS or you are not using IFRS? 3, are you using it the right way or you have corners while you're using your IFRS? So these have to be looked at when we talk about IFRS. Okay? You have to note we have a voluntary and involuntary. So you have to know where, and it has a legal foundation that dictates the kind of penalties that will be slapped with from the regulator. If this has what we call a registration process, it's an all new process. So you have to go to the URL portal, www.uri.go.ug. Okay. After there, you do what we call in verification, enter your tax identification number and password. Okay. So you go to the portal, www.uri.go.ug, you enter your TIN and then password. Then after that, you choose registration type option. That is including, will you be using a web portal, as I've been explaining? Will it be system to system using API, or will it be a desktop app? Okay. Then there is a very simple form. Complete the form, fill in your business details. That is location, business type, and all those other things. Then finally, receive approval. Once verified URL enables you access to start issuing e-receipts or invoices. Okay? However, there are some records that are required. These may include trading license, certificate of corporation, certificate of registration or incorporation, among others. So I will beg to go back to these steps because they are very important. You log into the URL portal, that is www.ura.go.ug. You enter your TIN, then password, choose the registration type. Okay. Complete that form. It will ask you for details like, do you have a branch, what application you want to use, and all that. Then you receive approval. Once it is done, you're good to go. So what are the detailed components? We have e-invoicing option. For API integration, used for connecting large ERPs or POS systems with IFRS. These ones I've already explained. You have the web portal, a direct entry via URA website. So here you just go to the URA website, you produce your simple invoice, then it will go. Then you have a desktop application. This allows you to use offline invoice issuance, data synchronization when online. Then we have USSD code, these codes you use when you're sending or sending mobile money or paying bills, and the *18. So you has the code like that. So that is also importantly used. Then we have what we call electronic fiscal devices. These instantly record sales for URA access. Then we have offline modes that are synchronized when reconnected to the internet and ensures no transaction data is lost. Then you have electronic dispenser controllers. I think these, you might have seen them, but maybe you've not picked interest in them. If you go to a fueling station, these days, those people ask you, do you want a manual receipt or an online receipt or invoice? So that is the electronic dispenser machines. These are mainly for fueling stations. So these are the dispenser machines that we use. For a supermarket chain, an example, supermarket chain may use API integration, while a mobile field agent may rely on a USSD code, depending. So this really depends on what they need, nature of the business, the volume of transactions you use, and all that. Okay. So those are the detailed components. Then we have system requirements and cost implication. It is not free, as you are aware, so you have to incur a bit of cost. API integration requires ERP. First of all, you have to get a ERP. ERP, this is the system you use. We have very many ERPs that are compatible with the API for support. So you have to buy your API, first you buy your system, you pay for integration and all that. So that is the cost you have to have in your pocket. Then you have POS machines. These are very easy. this you incur very little money, and it is communicates directly to the tax body. Then we have desktop apps, standard computers with internet. So there is an added business cost of internet. So you have to have data. Some call it data, internet, and all that. Then we have API integration, including the costs are setup fees for ERP integration. Depends if you have an online system, this one you'll be paying every month. Okay? For the electronic dispenser machines, there is a cost to buy that post machine. Then there has to be online ongoing maintenance. Please don't get these machines or system and then you sit back. This has to be maintained. So I'm now campaigning on marketing our IT consultants. So here you have to give them jobs regularly. We recommend once every quarter, but make sure your machines are checked.
Okay.
Yeah, to ensure that, because who knows, maybe your neighbor might have tapped into your machine and is producing invoices that are going to your machine. So you have to make sure these are checked and maintained on a regular basis. Even if you see they have no problem, kindly make sure you get someone who can look at the penetration. So what are the function capabilities? What does IFRIS do? It has transaction management, tracks sales, returns, improves tax accuracy and calculation, then stock and production management. If you're a factory, you can easily manage your stock, or you are a wholesaler. For factory, after manufacture, you have to input these units into IFRIS. Then you sell them thereafter. Please don't have stock in your shop that is out of IFRIS, because this is a major pain for almost all people that are using IFRIS. Please ensure the stock you have is what you have in IFRIS to avoid disturbance. Then fiscal document handling, generated cancels and manages receipts. Those are some of the major functionalities. So we have system requirements and cost implications, issues credit notes and debit notes for flexible invoice adjustments, provides real-time transaction data. These ones I've already talked about. Case in point, a retailer returns an item if his immediate updates inventory and issues a credit note. Okay? Yeah. Then we have data security and confidentiality. Legal compliance with the data protection laws, government by the Tax Practices Act, and enforced data protection procedures. We have URL data encryption, as I've been telling you, the very many steps you follow before you log on. Then you have fines and penalties. Failure to use IFRIS. People, make sure you use IFRIS. The penal tax is equivalent to tax due or 400 currency points. Whichever is higher. Currency point is 20,000. So if you have a quick calculator, you can multiply this 400 times the 20,000, you know how much. Then there is the tendency of people tampering with EFDs. The penalty is equivalent to the tax due. That is the tax you would have paid. So you pay double that tax. Or 300 currency points, whichever is higher. Then we have unauthorized EFDs. You find some people have manual EFDs that even produces all the codes and all that. My dear, that is actually the biggest offense. It can take you to prison for 3 years or fines up to fines up to 3 years. Sorry, for fines up to 300 currency points, that is 300 times 20,000. Forgery, interference, failure to use e-freeze, fine over 1,500 currency points, that's 1,500 times 20,000, or imprisonment up to 10 years. Can you imagine? 10 years.
Yeah.
Failure to file information returns, imprisonment up to 10 years. So, my guys, let's be intentional here. And then false or misleading statements, similar penalties apply above. So, people, let's be intentional to avoid such penalties. Okay? Yeah, so that is all I had for e-freeze. Maybe we shall entertain questions.
Thank you, Mr. Senoga. I think very many of you have now at least got something that you've learned about e-freeze. You know, e-freeze has been a very serious topic in the past 3 months. Remember the president even meeting traders, trying to tell them e-freeze is good. URA has been explaining to everyone how e-freeze is good. But you know, sometimes I think it is very intentional. Sometimes I don't know whether it is political, but people don't always want to abide by the laws. But I have got a few issues here, key takeaways. You said the URA introduced this to streamline invoicing, receipting, and tax compliance, and that is okay. You've also said that e-freeze aims to enhance transparency in business transactions, prevent revenue loss, and curb tax evasion. And you briefed us about the objectives. You said tax administration by automating invoicing and receipting is one of the objectives. Enhance real-time monitoring, business transactions, and reduce manual errors. Yes. So these manual errors are not always common when it comes to e-freeze. Increase taxpayer compliance and boost national revenue. So with e-freeze, it is very hard for any trader, for anyone in business to dodge taxes.
Sure.
Okay, so you also talked about how e-freeze works. Businesses issue receipts and invoice through the e-freeze platform. Each transaction is recorded digitally and immediately, and it is shared with URA. So every transaction that someone does is being shared with URA, the taxman, immediately.
In real time.
So you also said e-freeze integrates with other financial and accounting systems.
Yeah, sure.
For just that seamless experience. So there are softwares and systems that your accountants use that are integrated with.
Yes, those ones are now integrated.
Okay.
And so, it's a requirement for.
Okay, so you Ugandans should also know that one of the benefits of e-freeze is it reduces paperwork.
Sure.
And simplifies record keeping. So when you have e-freeze, everything is sorted for you. You don't have to do these other things manually. Then it speeds up tax filing with real-time data sharing. You don't have to have data here, then run to Nakawa, share with URA. It minimizes risks of audits due to transparency in transaction reporting. And you said it offers a secure and a user-friendly platform for invoicing.
Sure.
So looking at all this, I just see that e-freeze is something that is very good, that everyone should embrace. Sure. We have a few questions here. I see many of our viewers here. I thank everyone who is online. We are also streaming live on Vectra Twitter. We are streaming live. I see very many people out here. Let me just look through the questions and see what I'm looking through the questions. But as I wait for the questions of this side, I also have people who have been engaging here. And someone said, what key features distinguish e-freeze from
the previous tax management systems? Maybe I can ask like 3, then you'll answer them at once. Or I can ask one and then you respond.
Yeah, one or
Okay.
two. Or two.
So, what key features distinguish EFRIS from previous tax management systems?
The key feature is real-time management. Previously, you would only communicate to URA after a month
Okay.
that these are the sales we made, these are the purchases we made. But now, it's real-time. Very accurate and on point. So basically, that is the major difference between the previous systems and IFRIS now. So this is mainly real time.
Someone else is asking, how does EFRIS handle real-time data processing, and what is the average latency?
I think from a layman's perspective, I would say it's real time, because those measures are more for IT people. But for me, as a user, when I punch in an invoice and it comes out in 1 minute, for me that is what I consider as real time.
Okay. Are there any specific tools within EFRIS designed for small and medium enterprises?
As I've been saying, the e-receipt, that is basically for small and medium-sized enterprises. If you can't afford these very many complex APIs and all that, you just register with EFRIS, then you use the web.
Okay.
That is if you're really a small business and you are not believing you're a small business, yet in the eyes of government, you're a big business.
So this e-receipting is integrated in the EFRIS system?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Then someone here, who is this one? Jonah wants to know, how compatible is EFRIS with existing accounting or ERP systems?
Very, very compatible. Almost all available softwares can easily be integrated. URA has a list of authorized integrators, so you just go there and then they integrate to the portal. So it is really compatible. I've not seen it fail with any software.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can this system really operate in environments with intermittent internet access?
Yeah, you can be recording, then after you can synchronize.
So it can record without offline.
Then
and
after
then
you
later
synchronize.
Okay, so it doesn't require you to be in an area with internet.
No.
Even when I'm out there in the villages where there is no internet, I can still use the system. Okay. Then someone wants to know about the data privacy. When it comes to data privacy and security, there are measures in place to secure transaction data in EFRIS.
Sure, because there are very many there are many regulations that govern data privacy, and in case of a breach, you can easily report any entity, like the Data Protection Act. Okay. That one, it is really here to protect your data.
So who has?
And remember, the taxman is not supposed to share your data with any other person.
Okay, so it's only the taxman that has access to this data.
Yes.
No one else has authorization.
Maybe if you share your passwords and all that to other people. But it's only now the taxman who we believe is responsible and won't share your data with anyone.
Who we believe is responsible.
Yes.
So anything that happens to the system, of course, I have to blame who?
The taxman.
The taxman.
Because now he's here saying, let me keep for you.
Okay.
However, that does not reveal you from your duty of keeping information. In case of anything, they can call you to explain. So you have to make sure you also have your data. Okay? This is not a substitute of your responsibility to keep information.
I have viewers that are watching us live on our YouTube, Muonge Kasim. Thanks you for joining. Chisachi John Davis, thank you for joining. Nayevali Hilda has been very consistent. Kavandize Elite. And Mwonge here has a question. What is required to register for EFRIS? I remember you had a slide about what is required
Basically,
to register for EFRIS.
What is required is a certificate of registration or incorporation. A TIN, then you should have a TIN, then a certificate of incorporation. Yeah, basically that's it. Then also don't forget internet.
Internet.
You should have data.
Yeah, but because you talked about the other issue of connectivity, even when you don't have internet, maybe someone.
That is later.
Yeah, but so during the initiation, you have
the relationship has to begin on a good note.
Okay. Then I see Chisachi John here. Good morning, everyone. Board special thanks to Mr. Senoga for the time given to teach us about the benefits. Okay. Then Nayevare here, what types of documents can be filed and retrieved through EFRIS?
The e-receipts and e-invoices.
Those
both for your sales and purchases.
They can be retrieved
anytime.
Okay. Kavandize Elite, good morning, sir. I would like to know, how does EFRIS handle documents versioning, or documents of different versions? I don't know what Kavandize is really asking about. I would like to know, how does EFRIS handle documents versioning?
Like those are technical. I think it comes from an IT background.
Okay.
But for us, the accountants, we are typically users. As long as I can get my PDF, that is all I need. As long as I can get my invoice, that's all I need. And that is what I use that system for.
And then he continues and asks, like, in case a machine fails to function in the process of recording data, is that a penalty to the trader?
Failing how? I've been using those machines for quite a long period of time, and I've not seen any fading.
Okay. Then about the accessibility, what has been done to ensure EFRIS is user-friendly for taxpayers of various technical skills?
They have even gone as far as coming up with applications. Okay. Things as simple as apps, post machines. They really want everyone to be on board.
So what you mean?
Both.
There are some support resources. Support resources, especially like tutorials for available new users. Like
yeah, sure. If you go to www.uri.go.ug, you can get a lot of information.
Now, for people who are illiterate, they're in business, but they're illiterate and they don't want to be cheated. But then they have they have managers and they're the bosses.
Yeah, so
if it's in different languages, or you can only find everything in English.
You see, illiteracy depends on what you call literacy.
Someone doesn't know how to read and write. Someone doesn't even know how to read the word.
Money is school fees. You can go and hire a consultant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't consultants connect with these people in business.
We be their professionals.
Okay. Then lastly, the last two questions, we are running out of time for our first topic. We have to go for a short break. But then how does EFRIS ensure businesses adhere to real-time tax reporting requirements? Then someone here, Robert, can EFRIS generate custom reports based on specific business needs?
Whatever that means, but they're standard receipts and invoices.
Okay. Then lastly, what timelines are typically involved in fully implementing EFRIS for an organization?
as long as you register for VAT,
Okay.
we believe your systems are in place for implementing.
Okay. That is exactly.
So it's a cost we have to consider when starting a business, especially if it's going to be a big business.
Then I think lastly, before we go for a break, this is Wanyan Lydia. I requested that at least our viewers, you tell us briefly where you are watching us from, where you work from, so that we can know whether you are the people, you are the target audience that we are looking out for out there in the so someone is asking
for the importance of this topic. I believe we can entertain more questions, then we move.
Now I have one more question here. If I run a business in the village and it's not registered,
people have started with the village.
should I wait until you know this, until URA comes around? What are the implications? I'm in the village and I'm running business. Should I wait till URA comes around?
I think for drivers, they know, and people who have used cars, there are very many ways of stopping a car.
Okay.
You can use the brakes by going to register, or you can wait for the car to crash. When it crashes, it comes with force.
Are you not scaring these people?
No, I'm just giving a very simple example of to answer that question. So it is better you use your brake pads,
okay,
to manage your vehicle called business.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Senoga Robert.
Welcome.
We are grateful that we are hearing from these experts, and we are getting very great insights about quite a number of topics. And Mr. Senoga here has been teaching us about tax, income tax, payee, and everything about tax. And today we have learned about EFRIS. Hope everyone out there has learned and got something. And I request that you continue sharing the link so that very many other people can join us and learn from this training. We thank CNOOC for sponsoring this online enterprise development program, which will continue for the next 7 days. So thank you. Let's go for a break. We shall be back with another topic.
Thank you.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. CNOOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to CNOOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher oil fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
CNOOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I'd always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and CNOOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
CNOOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
CNOOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. CNOOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
CNOOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhance Africa friendship, and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in the Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend a night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in the Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend a night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
A rig is a group of equipment that we assemble, we test, and then we commission or operationalize to help us dig the wells, have them under control, have them completed, and get them ready for the production phase.
We have built capacity to handle equipment from the ship up to the last mile in the Kingfisher.
The convoys have been in the range of 15 to 20 trucks and driving all the way from Mombasa to Malaba in about 3 days. Then they would come from Malaba to Mukono, spend a night. Then early morning we would set off from Mukono to Hoima.
We have employed Ugandans, so that's a good way of appreciating and saying yes, it is possible that we Ugandans, we can be involved in this oil and gas, and we perform excellently.
should be used for decision making. Simple decisions like when to restock, how much should we sell, what is in the market, all those. So for you to be a complete accountant, you should be in position to record, summarize, and report. So you find some accountants are only doing the recording bit. They get invoices, enter into the system. You have those ones that summarize. These are the payables accountants, receivables accountants, and all those ones. Then you have the reporting accountant, those ones that report for big companies. But now for small companies, as SMEs we are dealing with, should get a person who is capable of recording, summarizing, and reporting transactions to provide information that helps in informed decision making. Decisions like when, how much to purchase, when to purchase, where to purchase from. Okay, for example, if you're an importer, which country has good rates? So basically, that is what accounting is. So that is what we expect a complete accountant to be doing. Okay, record, summarize, report. Record, summarize, report. Okay, either to government, either to other businesses, either to customers or bankers. That's why banks will always tell you, bring books of accounts, because they want a simple communication of what is taking place in the business. Okay? Then, what is the purpose of accounting? Why should you engage in recording, summarizing, and reporting? Number one is to track finances. Accounting helps you to track your finances. This is especially by looking at inflows, how much is coming in. Then after it has come in, how much? How is it being spent? Okay? So an accountant helps you to track your finances. That what has come in, is it spent in the right way, or it is not spent on business transactions? Okay? That is the purpose of accounting, or the role of an accountant. Then we have informed decision making. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not having a budget in place, kindly after here, you go back and draft a budget to use in your business. Because it is a key document when it comes to decision making, especially internal decision making. Okay? A budget is a very useful information, because accounting is about information. So when you have an accounting system that can't give you information when you need it, check with that system. Otherwise, and a good accounting system should give you information for you to make decisions. Then accountability. This is in a case that who has made what. Okay? Accounting will tell you that this money was spent by this person got this money, he didn't use it right, and all that. Then we have real world examples. Imagine a bakery tracking sales expenses on ingredients, rent, and labor. This enables the owner to know how much profit they are actually making. Because if you don't know the profits, or what we call the rate of return, you will get bad loans. For example, if you're dealing in a business that has a rate of return of 10%, why should you go for a loan of 20%? That is automatically you are headed for disaster. But with accounting, you can easily know that this business is not worth it, or this business is supposed to take such a loan, but I have to go sell maybe my cows and add it to the business. Things like that. So that is the role of accounting or an accountant. So just like any technical subject, we have key terms. And one of them, I think you've heard people talk about assets, liabilities, equity, expenses, and all that. So our key terms, we have assets, anything that a company owns that has value and can be used to meet its obligations, okay? So things like cash, inventory, building, and all that. For example, the other example we use of a bakery, an oven is its asset because they use it to produce bread, okay? So what are liabilities? These are basically debts or obligations owed to others. So for example, loans, the easier one are loans, but we also have unbilled, unpaid bills. If your landlord is demanding you money, that is a liability. Then we have equity. Equity, which is owner's claim on the company's owner's claim on the company after liabilities and assets are subtracted. Okay, so if you have more liabilities than your assets, you have no equity in that business. So the business is behaving otherwise. Okay, so these are the concepts we use. So whenever don't let an accountant confuse when they're talking about assets, liabilities, equity, what. So you should know what they're talking about. Okay, because as small businesses, the owner is the supervisor of an accountant. So we expect such firms to at least throw more light on what the other accountant does. And then we have what we call financial statements. We have different types of financial statements. The simplest one that each and every business has is an income statement, or what we call profit and loss account. This basically shows your revenues, expense, and profit over a period. This mainly does not exceed 1 year. Okay? So if you want a document that will show you the activity flow, like how much revenue have you gotten, how much expenses have you incurred, and what is your profit or loss for that particular period, you go to what we call an income statement. Okay? This displays sales revenue for, again, an example of a bakery, costs of ingredients, wages, etc. And then they show the net profit of that company. So basically, at least let your accountant show you your income statement. At least. So if you're a business owner, you just go tell your accountant, can I see my profit and loss? Or you can even to look more professional, you can tell them, can you please show me your P&L account or statement? They will be shocked and they will show you on time. Then we have what we call a balance sheet. This provides the snapshot of what the business owns and owes to at a specific date. Okay, so this shows your worth. For example, someone can ask you what is your worth. Then you say, I have a house, I have a car, I have maybe a business, I have a child, all that. So this statement shows you what is your worth. Are you worth 1 million? Are you worth 2 million? Are you worth 3 million? So the balance sheet shows you what your worth is. So this is mainly used by lenders to see your position, while the balance sheet is used to show whether you are capable of repaying the loan. Then another statement is called a cash flow statement. So this details your inflows and outflow. It shows how much cash is being used, because you might hear people say, but I made 300 million in profit, but I don't see them under cash. What is the problem? So this is the use of the cash flow statement. It shows you how much cash you have in your business. Okay, so this you might be making profits, yet you don't have any cash at source, and you're even struggling to live. So this cash flow will show you, because this displays how much money came in, how much money went out, how much was used on capital expenses, how much has come in as capital, how much has been used as in as expenses. So basically this cash flow helps you to know your finance or cash well, health. Is this business healthy or it is operating on credit? Then we have the statement of changes in equity. Equity is what you as the owner has. So this statement, it always shows the share capital, net profit or loss that is accumulated over a given period of time. So these are the major statements you have to ask your accountant. Tell them, please show me the P&L or income statement, BS or balance sheet. Sometimes they call it statement of financial position, cash flow, then the statement of changes in equity. So all the work you see. So I said accounting is about recording, summarizing, and then reporting. So the summaries are here, and it is what we report on. Okay?
Okay.
So those are the financial statements you should always ask your accountant. So basic financial terms, we have revenues. We have revenue. Revenue, this is income from sales or services rendered. For example, bakery revenue includes sales from all baked bread. Okay? For a service company like Vectra, revenue comes from the services they have rendered to different customers. Then we have expenses. This should be costs incurred in generating revenue. Don't include your personal expenses in here for accounting purposes. Okay? Examples include cost of flour for a bakery, sugar, labor, and rent. So basically, expenses are incurred to generate revenue. The keyword here is incurred, generate revenue. Then we have profit and loss. This is revenue minus expenses. This shows the financial results of the operations. So here I will show you that this year you've been toiling for nothing, or you've gotten some profits out of your sweat. Okay? So basically this is a P&L summary where we talk about revenues, expenses, then net profits. Okay? Then as I told you, it's about recording, summarizing, and reporting. So we are now on reporting. Okay? What is the reporting process? Record. So the transaction starts with recording. You record every day, you record, you record, you record, you record, you record. Okay? Then after you post in your ledgers, after you've posted, you make adjustments. For example, there might be errors here and here. You adjust and then you report through financial statements. That is the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, and changes in equity. Then close out on temporal accounts like revenue and expenses. Whenever a year ends, these are closed and taken to the balance sheet. Example, bakery must close its sales revenue account after summarizing their end profits. Okay? So basically that's the process. It starts with recording, posting, adjustment, recording, and then closing the period. That is why you see, if you've ever interacted with accountants, many don't enjoy their Christmas seasons because they have accounts to close. Okay? So that is now where the terminology comes in. So basically you record, post, adjust, and then close the accounts. And people, sophisticated accountants will, under adjustments, will bring things like accruals and all those other terminologies. Accruals, contingent liabilities, all those things. They will come here, they will come in an adjustment. But for our interest, we are limiting ourselves to simple accounting for non-managers. Then, one of the best way to know how you perform is by using ratios. And the simplest ratio used is the profit margin. That is net income or revenue That is net income over revenue. So this will show you what is your profit margin. Is it a 30%? Is it a 10%? Is it a -5? What is it? So this ratio will show you either you should continue with business or you close and look for another business to deal with. Then if you manufacture or sell, we have what we call current ratio. This current ratio for assets, remember we have current and non-current assets. So this is just current assets over current liabilities. But when it is above 1, you can celebrate and pop a champagne. But when it is below 1, you have to sit down, then you learn, you revise on how you should proceed with your business. So basically, ratios help us to manage our businesses. Then you have debt to equity ratio. Before you borrow money, you should know, is it a 1 or is it below 1? Because the total liabilities over equity will show you your finance leverage, like how much. This just measures how much your business is running on borrowed money. Okay? We can't end basic accounting without looking at budgeting. I think you've seen what a budget is.
Yeah.
For example, the simplest is the national budget. That one that is presented by the minister. Also, like when a month starts, you know what you buy in that month, what you spend in that month. So all those are budgets. A budget is a financial plan estimating revenue, expenses, and cash flow. Okay? That is basically what a budget is. And it is a key document that is used for business management. As owners of SMEs, we expect you to at least have a budget. Budget is a basic document. And by the way, leave this tendency of saying this is a small business, this is a big, a multinational or what. Every business should have a budget so that you should know. For example, you can get an order and it sinks your business if you don't have a budget. Okay? So a budget is a very important document under any financial management class, program, etc. So a budget really shows your estimated revenue, expenses, and cash flows. Yes, let miracles happen outside your budget. Don't allow miracles to happen within your budget. Okay? You have to make sure you have a budget. It is what we preach and what we encourage. What are the key elements of this thing called a budget? You should have revenue estimates. For example, it is vividly known, like, for example, people with salons, it is known, it is on weekends when they sell a lot. So, I expect the budget spent for a salon for Mondays to have low sales and then weekends to have high sales. So like we consultants, we know like if we can know that this budget is cooked or it has issues by just looking at the circumstances of the organization. Then revenue, expense estimates. These are a plan of what you expect to spend. Please don't include your personal expenses here because this will again disturb you in your taxation. So whatever we've told before explaining in taxation will die around here. If you don't have, if you include non-business expenses, as I was telling you yesterday, please don't include your school fees, expenses here, money you've given to your wife or girlfriend under business expenses, okay? And we encourage you also, as a business owner, please get a salary out of your business to avoid removing money from the business because this can kill it. Then, cash flow for workers, because I told you, revenue or expenses does not does not equal cash. So make sure you have estimates for cash, because a business can fail due to the fact that there's no cash. For example, a bakery owner, this is the example I chose. A bakery owner plans to budget for rent, ingredients, employee wages, and expected sales. So basically, budget start with sales. For manufacturing entities, you estimate how much you expect to sell. Then the ingredients will come in, expenses, and all that. So basically, that is the budget. It's a key document. If you don't have one, and you are a business, CNOOC has paid for you to come and attend, please think of getting a budget, because a budget is a very, very important document. Now this now brings back to our discussion on taxation. After you've gotten budget and all that, taxation now comes in. Because with the budget you can estimate, this year I'm going to pay this tax, let me start saving for it. Okay, my sales tax are going to be like this, VAT is going to be like this, and this will help you to manage your compliance, because you have a complete year. Why should you wait for December to start panicking that I don't have money to pay for my taxes? So with the budget you can really know this is the amount. And nowadays you are brought about a gross account. You can put money under your gross account, then you can consume when the exact time reaches. Example, baker needs to track sales on each sale, sales tax on each sale, and income tax on annual profits to ensure compliance. As I told you, sometimes VAT is called sales tax. Okay, so tax should always be considered. As a business owner, you task your accountant to tell you, but how much do I expect to pay this year? Because, and also why budgeting is even important, we have what we call provisional tax. Without a budget, you can't vividly file your provisional tax. And remember, provisional tax return or provisional tax as a penalty. When you're under provision, if your provisions are less than 90% of the actual sales, there's a penalty attached. Why should you get a penalty, yet you have someone at source or a qualified accountant to estimate these things in real time? Okay, you have to make sure, I emphasize, a budget is a key document. As simple as it is sales or revenues, expenses, then the balance will calculate your profit, and then on your profit you calculate your sales tax, and it is from that budget that we shall file and pay our provisional tax. So kindly, a budget is a very, very big and serious document. So what is the importance of good accounting practices? Why should we bother even to teach you what accounting is? Okay, why should you get a good accountant? These are the reasons. A, 1, B or C, decision making. Accurate financial data supports budgeting. Again, you see budgeting is coming in here, and investment. Then a good system will make you a very compliant person, because proper record keeping prevents legal and financial penalties. And then it symbolizes compliance. A good accounting system is a building block on your compliance aspects. Then finally, avoid the following mistakes: mixing personal and business finances. Please, business owner on this forum, avoid this vice by giving yourself a salary.
Okay.
If your personal expenses are 10 million, don't lie to yourself that if your business pays you 2 million, you will not touch into the business money. Okay? Avoid mixing personal businesses, personal finance and business finance. If you are donating to your friends that have weddings, make sure you are donating on your profits. Okay? Because business is not philanthropy. Business is business. That is why you made it, and sometimes it is the source of your survival. If you believe, kindly don't invite people in your shop, then you start giving them free goods. You are headed for disaster. Okay? Make sure you don't mix personal. I emphasize, don't mix personal finances with business finances. You are headed for disaster. Okay? You are actually scratching a lion.
Okay.
Okay? Failing to record business transactions. Okay? If you don't do that, that is also disaster, because you'll have a lot of issues, and you'll be having the greatest headache for your finances. Then ignoring reconciliations. You people who have bank accounts or use a lot of cash, ask your accountants, but last time I bought 5 million. Where has it gone? Where is it? You have to make sure you reconcile. Okay? Remember, as I always say, if you have inventory and cash is the most mobile and interesting asset. So keep it jealously. Do reconciliations. Okay?
Okay.
So that is what I believe that is important to share with my non-financial experts on what an accountant does and what are the major ingredients of accounting. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Robert, for the presentation. I have been trying to note a few issues here, and I've also been getting some notes out of your presentation. You talked about letting the numbers speak, and miracles happen outside your budget, not within it. Budgets keep businesses grounded, helping to predict the predictable. That's what also the budget does. Budgets are a realistic roadmap. They shouldn't limit ambitions. And you also said in accounting, tracking finances is not just about what is earned. It's about knowing how, where, and why money is spent. I've also picked out something. Every expense recorded tells a story, whether of growth, necessity, or misjudgment. A budget is a financial compass. It doesn't just track past spending, but guides future financial decisions. There is quite a lot that I have picked as someone who is not an accountant, because Mr. Robert is not talking to accountants, but he's talking to you people who are managing businesses. He's talking to you people who are having SMEs, because he wants you to know what is required of you. You need an expert, you need an accountant to help your business move very well, to help you grow, because you cannot grow if you don't have an expert to help you do the accounting. Remember, it is accounting that is the engine of your business. It is the engine of your SME, because it helps you grow very well. If you don't grow, that is not business. You are letting yourself down. So for now, let me read through some questions here from some people online. I see some question here. Someone is called who? What key features distinguish EFRIS from this is EFRIS, not financial accounting. Let me get the questions here. Here are some of the questions. What are the key distinctions between different types of accountants? There is a data entry, payables, receivables, and reporting accountants.
Data entry accountant, these are basically data clerks, and this one can be done by anyone.
Okay.
Especially with the new invention of these systems and all that. So nowadays you see a lot of data is being entered at receptions. So this is basically about entering data. A payables accountant, this one manages expenses and supplies. So we expect that accountant to specifically manage the payables account. Okay? Is responsible for paying customer, so supplier invoices and all that. Then receivables accountant, this one is responsible for managing sales. Is the one who knows how much is being demanded, how much a company demands from its customers, which customers delayed to pay, how much does each customer bring on table, who are our major customers. That is now the receivables accountant. Then we have a reporting accountant. This one basically produces those four statements I've been talking about. The income statement, the balance sheet, cash flow, statement of changes in equity. So, and also is responsible, and also some big organizations, we have what we call budgeting accountants. So these ones are just responsible for budgeting. So basically that is the own set of accounts.
And then someone here, Emma, wants to know, what is the current ratio considered critical for a business financial health? And that what ratio is
the current ratio is basically current assets over current liabilities, because we expect current assets to mature before 1 year. So imagine you are demanded a lot and you are expecting too little from your customers. You are headed for disaster. You will either hide, or your business is soon collapsing, things like that, or you have to borrow to run your business. That also pushes more liabilities to your business. So it is a very, very serious ratio.
Then how does effective accounting support decision making in small versus large businesses?
Yeah, I normally don't trade small, large,
yeah,
because these principles are all the same. Because if you don't have an accountant, you can't easily make decisions, regardless if it is a big company or a small company. However, small companies have a tendency of running on their owners. They are the ones, if it sees money in the pocket, it says their business is well. So basically that's it.
Okay, how can a well-managed budget impact tax planning and compliance for a business?
This does a lot, because, for example, sales, you know how much output VAT is expected from you. Then at the end of the day, after getting sales minus revenue, you know the profits you expect, and then how much income tax is expected. And for income tax, it goes as well as filing provisional tax returns. So without a fully functioning budget, you're heading to disaster when it comes to provisional tax returns, because those ones have a penalty whenever a provision, when your actual is higher than your provision by the provision should be within the 90% range. When it is below, penalties come in. So that is the very serious importance of
someone wants to know the importance of each financial statement. Income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, and equity changes.
Changes in equity. The income statement, this shows you the profit for that particular period. It will show you your income, the expenses, and then the profit thereof. Okay, this is, in simple terms, it's an operational statement. It will show you how much you've earned. Then we have a balance sheet. This shows your health. What is your worth? That is the importance of a balance sheet. Then the cash flow, how much money do I have, and how much and how have I used it? Am I spending? Am I overspending? Am I underspending? That's why my business has not developed. What am I doing? Then the statement of changes in equity, it shows your wealth in the business. How much capital do I have, and how much net profit has accumulated or net loss has accumulated in the business.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Now, lastly, I have someone here online. Magezi Stephen says it is great. Wanyana Lydia still following. Kavandize Elite, Naewale Hilda. All of you guys, thank you for following and giving here your comments. Livingston Seguja says, this is a very good presentation. Well done, Mr. Senoga. And is asking a question here. Is SRS in position to provide outsourced bookkeeping services? Please share your contact details. I think those details will be shared to you, Mr. Livingston. Let's go for a short break. We will be back shortly.
Let me first answer him.
Yeah.
SRS is a fully fledged accounting firm. It provides audit, tax, and advisory services, and bookkeeping being one of the services we provide. You can find us online, and then you can get all the details.
Okay. Mr. Seguja, you can find them online. SRS is online, and you'll get those details. Thank you for watching. Continue sharing the link. Invite as many friends as possible so that they learn with you. You don't have to learn alone. Share the knowledge. Let the knowledge be got by everyone out there in the SMEs. Thank you for watching. We will be back with another topic. Let's go for a short break.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring, and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work.
Yeah, I think they
EPC
should.
Pipeline trenching.
But enough for that, enough time. That's why I'm giving him enough time. Since it's a training,
transformation towards a
I give you enough time uninterrupted. You talk and talk and talk and talk and
has
talk.
been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,000
Not 1 hour.
56 tons.
40.
CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. CNOOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to CNOOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
CNOOC sponsors international scholarships.
It is only one.
Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and CNOOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
CNOOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere.
Which topic is?
We thank them. There's nothing much we can give them.
Yeah, but
maybe use the
it's
skills
understandable.
properly, so that they can also feel they have done some impact.
CNOOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Bubuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building settlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested 620,000 US in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. CNOOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
CNOOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like resettlement houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons. Construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. CNOOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to CNOOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher oil fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
CNOOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and CNOOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
CNOOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
CNOOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. CNOOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
CNOOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.
Still good morning. It is 11:12 and we welcome you back from the short break. Remember, we are still continuing with our CNOOC Online Enterprise Development Program sponsored by CNOOC. We thank CNOOC Uganda for organizing this. And on behalf of all the SMEs, I would like to also thank the consultants that are here to really present and train them on the various topics available. And here today we are still with Mr. Senoga Robert. Today he has taken us through EFRIS. I think now know what EFRIS is. We are no longer calling EFRIS a tax. We now understand that EFRIS is not a tax. It is just a way through how you can be helped to organize your documents, how you can do your business in using one application. So today, he has another topic for us that is very, very important, and it is auditing. Do we really understand the importance of an auditor? Do we really know why auditing is important when it comes to business? Are we supposed to be doing auditing by ourselves? As a father, you have business. Is your son your auditor? Do you just bring in anyone that you a person of your village to come and audit the books? So we are going to learn from Mr. Senoga what is important when it comes to auditing. So ladies and gentlemen, keep sharing the link, comment, and even subscribe to this channel so that very many other people can really join and share with us. So I would like to welcome Mr. Senoga Robert back on set to start immediately with our topic.
Thank you so much. This is going to be our last topic today, and for finance, auditing, and accounting. So we are going to discuss auditing or business auditing, because the accounting cycle is not complete if the books are not audited. So you have to ensure that auditing is done. So just like I told you who an accountant is, I'm also going to tell you who an auditor is. An auditor is someone who has done CPA. He has enrolled as an accountant, and then he has secured a certificate from ICPAU, then that person is fit to be called an auditor. So an auditor, you can check your auditors from on the ICPAU website for authenticity to see that the person I'm calling an auditor is really an auditor or is not. Okay, that's why it has the companies and their respective partners or practitioners. So that is where you can get auditors information from. So we shall drill to now the content. What is auditing or business auditing? Auditing is an independent examination of financial statements and records to ensure compliance, completeness, accuracy with accounting standards and regulations. Okay? Kindly note, it is an independent examination. This therefore means you have to get an independent person to look into your books of accounts. Don't use your accountant to audit the books of accounts, because their independence would have been lost. And this independence, it should not be in mind, but also in appearance. That when you say this person is independent of me, that person should really be independent in mind and should look independent. For example, if you have a business, don't invite your son, if your son is an auditor, to audit you. Don't invite your relative. Don't invite your village, your government to audit. This person should be as independent as possible. And also there are specific years of which this person has to be an auditor. Don't audit one client for maybe 10 years. And then you think independence will be there. Okay? And remember, you should trust these people because they are independent, they have integrity, they are professionally grounded. So basically, that is an audit. However, the qualities I've been talking about, they are for external auditors. But for auditing, we have internal and external audits. For external audit, it is regulated, and you should get someone who is on the role of auditors. But for internal audit, any person can do it as long as they have basic auditing principles. Okay? These are the two audits that are performed. What is the purpose of auditing? I'll begin with the last. Some of you come when fraud has happened. Then that is when you will need an audit. But we will call that post-mortem because something has already happened. So we shall only advise going forward. Audit helps you to detect fraud, enhance reliability of your information, especially for you people who are seeking funding from banks or inviting other partners to come into your business. Auditing gives that confidence to the person that what you're calling a business is actually a business. Auditing ensures accuracy because auditing goes ahead. Accountants and auditors study the same things, but now this one checks the first one because he's the one who has been doing all this all the year round. Remember, an auditor can be a good visitor or otherwise. So the visitor comes and greets you. Then auditors help assess internal controls. This evaluates effectiveness of internal controls and supports improvements. So this is mainly done through, if it's an external audit, it is done through what we call a management letter. It will spell out all your weaknesses you have as a company. Then auditors beef up compliance of your business. So in auditing, we encourage you to establish a compliance framework. A comprehensive framework is structured to set guidelines and practices designed to ensure an organization adheres to legal, regulatory, or ethical requirements. Okay? That is a comprehensive framework. This comprehensive framework includes policies and procedures. So, business owners here, please, if you have any company, please go and design policies. These policies will help you argue out compliance issues with various tax bodies. So these policies spell out, for example, these policies include finance manuals, HR policies and procedures in case you have issues with your employees. Don't just come and chase one employee. This should be based on these manuals. These are very serious documents that are needed. Then 2, it has risk assessment. You should assess your risks. Do we have risks of fire? Do you have risks of, do you have financial risks? Do you have cash flow management risks? Do you have forex exchange risks? All these risks should be included into your compliance framework. Then training and awareness. Training like this are very important. So we thank CNOOC for giving business owners opportunity to be trained on what is needed to be done. So the compliance framework should include trainings and awareness. Please, even if someone has how many degrees, make sure these people are trained regularly, because new changes come in every now and then. So a compliance framework should include training and awareness. Then you should institute risk monitoring and reporting framework. A simplest monitoring framework can be things like a clocking machine. A clocking machine will show you who came in and at what time. So when you're paying your salaries, you can know how much to give each person depending on the hours they came in. However, for the risk management and reporting framework to work, there should be continuous monitoring. And after monitoring, please have a reporting mechanism. This can be from as simple as having outlines or through meetings. So as a serious businessman, we expect you to have meetings for your businesses at least once a month to know what is taking place, because your employees might be seeing risks, yet they can't know where to get you and communicate. Don't brag around that me, I'm inaccessible. No, be accessible so that your employees can highlight where the problems are coming from. Don't say, me, sometimes I don't want to talk to my employees. No, you have to talk to them and get what risks they have seen so that you can manage your risk and communication. Then there should be internal controls. This can be preventive controls. These prevent an occurrence of an event. Then detective, this control, this help to detect if there is any problem that is bound to happen and then solve it. Then we have corrective measures. Okay? Having looked at what a compliance framework, those 5 steps, we have what we call a compliance implementation, compliance framework implementation step. Step 1 is conduct a compliance gap analysis. By compliance gap analysis, you list the would-be compliance issues. You can start at simple things as health compliance. If a company, do we have PPE for our staff? Then you go to complex things like, how is our income tax compliance? Are we supposed to pay VAT or we are not supposed to? Are we supposed to withhold on some expenses we are not supposed to? So that is the first step in compliance. Then develop and document policies and procedures. Remember, when you don't have documents, there's no way you're going to argue it out. Then train staff and raise awareness. Again, CNOOC saw this and they put up such a training. Then implement monitoring and reporting tools. Okay, these days we see very many people having cameras. So those are some of the reporting tools. Then gradually review and update this framework. Don't have static documents. Let these documents change depending on the need and growth of your business. Types of audits. So people would ask, are there all audits external? There are audits. We have the simplest that can be done by even non-accountants. That is the internal audit. Please, if you have a business, at least you spare something. At least you invite an auditor or an internal auditor if you don't have money for the external auditor to look at what is happening in your business. Otherwise, when you're very busy looking for business, someone is very busy taking your money. So you get at least an internal auditor to look at your books. Then we have external audit. This is audit done by an independent external auditor who examines your books. Then we have compliance checks. You list all in the industry you are in and all the compliance requirements that you're supposed to have done. Then someone checks and sees if compliance is taking place. Then we have operation audits. These look at the day-to-day operations. How is business moving? What are the operational risks I have? Then we have stages in an audit. Don't be deceived. Stop calling auditors for one day. Come and audit my books. Boss, that will not be audit. Audit involves steps, and the key step is planning. This will help an auditor understand your business, know the kind of risks you have, know the environment, and then it involves an audit plan. Otherwise, when you invite this auditor for one day or 2 days, then he gives you a report, that will not be an audit. Please allow these people time to do this planning because it is a major process. Then you have execution. If someone has taken your money for audit, make sure the person has been at your premise to see what is taking place and he has done work. So this execution, this involves going, if for example your company in Kampala and you have activities in the Karamoja region, at least let this auditor take their person. Then finally we have reporting. Reporting, this is the report, that audit report you see, but it has to be accompanied with management. If it's under an audit, it has to have a management data, but if it is an external audit, it should have both internal and external, both an accounting document and a management letter. Then you have to do follow-up. Whatever the auditor has identified, it has to be followed up to ensure that it is being implemented. Then we have the key audit procedures. We do risk assessment. Risk is important. Since these days we use risk-based audit approach. Then we have testing of internal controls. We test to see whatever we put in place is working. If it is not, we advise. Then we have substantive testing. We have analytical procedures. This basically we look at current year and previous year, or we look at industrial averages. How are you performing vis-a-vis your industrial average? So this brings in a lot of problems to people who want to declare their taxes, because the taxman will look at the industrial average. Audit procedures and tools. These days we are very lucky, we have audit softwares. We use data analytics. Someone just pulls your data, then it flags off whatever has issues. We do sampling. Please don't invite an external auditor and you expect him to do everything if it is not a forensic audit. Some of you have a tendency of thinking we are going to look at everything. We do sampling depending on our expertise. Then we do interviews, and we can institute questionnaires depending on the circumstances. So we are given liberty choose what we are going to use, and then we are going to use it. Please stop advising our auditors on what to do. Importance of auditing. It enhances financial integrity. It helps on risk management. Then it helps you to prevent and detect fraud. To make sure your earned money remains with you. Regulatory compliance. If you properly do both internal and external audit, I don't expect you to have compliance issues safe if you are also involved. Because some people are complicit. The auditor shows you something, you're like, no, I know how to handle those problems. So, having spent the entire time talking about an audit and its advantages via compliance, what are some of the disadvantages of non-compliance? One is long-term business impact, difficulty in securing finances. You need the money, you have to be compliant. So if you are non-compliant, you will get challenges in obtaining financing and investment. Then maintaining business relationships. So if you misbehave, serious companies like CNOOC will not transact with you. Then you lose on revenue. Then you have legal and regulatory consequences, fines and penalties. Then you can be taken to court, and then you waste a lot of time and money in handling lawsuits. Then you have reputation damage. Your company will be pointed out whenever people are discussing on non-compliance. For example, this one. So avoid such if you can. Then financial losses. You don't do audits and then you get into non-compliance, so you will lose. You will get direct financial penalties or indirect financial penalties depending. And then also operation disputes. I think many people have seen when URAs come and close businesses. So this all comes when you are non-compliant. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hope I have done justice to the auditing presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me. I will invite questions, if any.
I thank you, Mr. Robert, for doing justice on auditing.
Welcome.
You know, everyone wants to get this very clearly when you talk about auditing. Auditing is hard everywhere. Who is supposed to be the real editor to do all this work? Like you've talked about internal auditors, you've talked about external auditors. Then if I have an internal auditor, what is the importance of this external auditor? Am I not overspending on auditing and auditing?
Auditing and re-auditing.
Yes.
And now, an internal auditor is more like an employee of the organization. Okay. Remember, one of the ingredients of auditing is independence. Okay? Remember, this internal auditor knows you when you smile, when you are annoyed, when you are sad. He knows the employees. Some of them go together for lunch and all that. So, and also internal audit is not so legal as external audit. Okay?
Yeah.
So the major difference is internal audit can be done by everyone. I think you've seen various companies, especially these are specialized companies. You might find someone who is auditing, an HR person doing HR audit.
Yes.
Okay? People in the manufacturing industry, you've seen engineers doing their specialized audit. So basically internal audit can be done by everyone. Okay? But external audit, you have to seek services of a certified professional. And that list can be gotten from the ICPAU website. Okay?
Okay.
You can seek any professional firm. For example, Chance can maybe drop you on SRS. Then you select that one, SRS can be your auditors. So basically, external audit is done by someone independent of your organization. So if SRS is your friend, leave them out. Get someone professional to look at your business for you to get value. Other now saying that auditors are fake. Last time the auditor was here, what? Things like that. So that is mainly the difference. The difference is on who. The other one has to be qualified, and then this one can be anyone. And then on what they do. One does internal work, the other one does external work that even can be shown by external parties. Yeah. That's why you see a bank doesn't require you doesn't request for internal audited books. No, they want an external auditor. Okay. So basically that's it.
And how can businesses ensure that their compliance frameworks adapt to changing regulations and industry standards?
Yeah, it is advisable you always seek. You either train your staff regularly, or seek professional guidance, because these people, for example, I'll give you an example for the tax changes. They drop into our emails 10 months prior the budget. We actually propose some of them as professionals. Okay? Yeah, so you should always train. On top of training, you should seek external advice. Because we come from different backgrounds, someone can pick something different as important, another one something different as important, yet you've all read the same book.
Then there is someone here called Magezi Chirinju who is asking, does an individual with a degree in accounting without CPA qualify as an accountant?
That one is a bookkeeper.
That one is a bookkeeper.
The law is very clear. You should study CPA for 3 years, work for 3 years, go to ICPAU and then register. You first become an accountant. If you're not satisfied with the accounting status, you go back for a practicing license, then you become an auditor.
Okay.
Yeah. But a degree is a good step to becoming an accountant.
But having a degree in this field of accounting, you are just like a local person out there. You don't have any qualifications.
No, you have a bachelor.
Yeah. you have a bachelor's, but it is just a foundation.
Yes, just a foundation.
Okay. Why is
but not in a bad way.
It's okay, understandable.
It's not as if it's bragging, but that is what the law says.
Just like the lawyers, if you don't have LDC,
yes, you are not
qualified. You're just a lawyer with books, but you're not a professional. You can't go in a court. So why is auditor independence vital, and what are the potential risks if independence is compromised in auditing?
Auditing in independence, by the way, we operate on 5 principles, and independence is the major ingredient. So if you're not independent, you're going to be biased. And if you're biased, you're going to put our profession online. So you have to make sure you are independent, because it's like if you are auditing your parent, you can't tell your parent maybe you are taking out money, giving it to your girlfriend. You understand? So audit independence, we have to tell you the bad news, but in a good way. These days, by the way, we are even advised, especially for internal auditors, you first begin on a good note. You first praise whatever is positive, then you start hammering. So to avoid all that, independence is a key ingredient.
Then I have Juma here. Juma is asking, what role do internal controls play in risk management, and how can they be implemented effectively in a small business?
Internal controls is a foundation and a pillar for risk management. So Internal controls, I can give you an example. If it is like cash, okay? You can put an internal controls, maybe the cashier is not responsible to receive maybe money from sales, okay? That is an internal control, but at the same time solving the risk of fraud, depending on how it is understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there is a question here from someone. People, you can continue sending in your questions and I read them here. Internal controls from preventive to corrective measures play a pivotal role in managing risks and no, that is how can businesses ensure that their compliance frameworks adapt to changing regulations?
I think that one I have answered.
And industry standards.
I think that is more on trainings and also seeking knowledge wherever you can find it. As for example, as a business person, we expect you to be buying news every day.
Yeah.
To see the trends. Watch news. If you can't read, watch news. So, or again, seek advice. Because there are people who have read those things and it is what they feed on a daily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there is a question here from some friend of mine. I don't know how he found this live stream. What specific measures should a business implement to ensure an auditor's independence is both perceived and actual, especially in closely held organizations?
Because I told you, this independence should be in mind and appearance.
Okay.
For example, you people who go out, when you invite your friend to audit you, your friend can be too professional, that is independent in mind, but in appearance is losing it. Okay?
Yeah.
So there is that problem. There is that problem. So you have to put those safeguards, and you, as a professional, you should decline those jobs where we see that your profession is being questioned.
Okay.
Yes.
Another question here. How does a comprehensive compliance framework mitigate potential risks, and what specific elements should it contain to address complex regulatory environments? I don't know what this one is trying to mean.
A complex compliance framework, it should have policies, monitoring mechanisms, internal controls. These even include on who is doing what.
Yeah.
For example, if it is a pharmacy,
yes,
you get a pharmacist to tell you this drug will expire in such and such a time. So the who also matters. If you have a case in court, invite a lawyer to assess that, you know what, boss, we are most likely to lose this case. You should do this and this and this. So it is not static. That for me, I've employed my accountant, so the accountant knows everything. No. Even as accountants, when we get jobs where we don't have specialty,
yes,
we work with what we call experts. They come in and realign. Yeah.
Okay. That is important. How should a company approach the development of a compliance gap analysis?
It should list all the risks that company is likely to face. For example, on this live, we are using power.
Yeah.
So for us to avoid getting off, we have to have a standby generator. Yeah. That is a risk we have identified as power going off. We should have more than 4 cameras. Yeah? Yeah. Just in case one goes off, we don't explain. Avoid explaining and performing and expecting miracles in businesses. So you have to list all those gaps you expect, compliance gaps. What are the risks of maybe VAT non-filing? You list. if it is an oil company, do I have a NEMA certificate? So it is the professionals will, you just tell them like, you just tell me this is the business I'm in, then I list for you. If it's an education institution, for example, now there are new regulations of not having a dormitory that's to open for very many children. So when they come, I'll just take off. So you have to identify all those gaps. Depending on the industry, there are standard ones, but many depend on the industry. When if it's an industry, do you have a fire assembly point? Do you have fire extinguisher? So basically, there you'll be identifying the compliance gap. Except for these concepts being too technical, when talked about, but they're really simple things that can be done by everyone. So that is how you can close compliance gaps.
Isma here wants to know, in what ways can data analytics and audit software enhance the audit process, and what potential limitations should organizations be aware of when relying on these technologies?
Just like any technology, it can fail, but data analytics and audit software, they sync, they work together, because for them they can flag any dubious or unusual transaction. So basically data analytics, because by analytics, for example, you might maybe say this industry, its average profitability is 10%, but you're auditing an industry, it is showing you the profitability is 20%. Then that will tip you automatically that maybe this person is under declaring expenses. Things like that. So that's where they analyze. So and nowadays their software just feed in and everything sorts itself.
Okay. How can a business ensure that its internal control procedures are not only in place but are consistently effective and adapted to evolving operational needs?
I'll just give him one tool called monitoring. You should monitor your controls. For example, the IT people normally do what we call penetration test. They hack into their system to see any risks that can come up. So we also in auditing we have it. So it is, you have to be checking in mechanisms, can be internal auditing, external auditing, putting in place monitoring softwares and all that. So it all starts and ends with monitoring. That is when you can.
Still on our YouTube here, I see quite a number of people here with their questions. What are the long-term financial implications for a business that maintains rigorous compliance versus one that frequently faces non-compliance issues?
The business that contains rigorous compliance, it incurs a lot of cost on compliance or corporate governance. So that is the only risk I see. But even if a business contains rigorous compliance, it can hire professionals that can help it swim through.
There is someone on Twitter who was saying that CNOOC, you don't give us internship. I think that will be, CNOOC has procedures on how people are supposed to get internship. So please, every time CNOOC advertises, please apply. There are very many people out there that keep applying. So if your chance comes, one day you will maybe get internship. Even those that are doing internship that side applied and followed the procedure.
Apply and
we have how often should an audit be carried out? Ivan Masengere.
Once. Thank you, Ivan. Audits, depending, internal audits we recommend every quarter. Once every quarter. For external audit, once a year. Yeah, but you find someone has taken 10 years without seeing auditors visit, that is not good business, I think. That is important.
Okay. What ethical considerations should guide auditors especially when conducting audits for long-term clients? And how can these ethical principles be enforced?
Now, auditors, audit firms have what we call internal mechanisms, and they have a very serious regulator who comes and whips them. So you can never audit someone forever. You audit them maybe for depending on what you set in your company. Then you leave the man. Don't die on the client because other firms are waiting to pick up that client.
Now I hear still on our YouTube there is Mr. Herbert. Thank you, CNOOC, for the opportunity. Thank you, moderator and presenter. Shall we receive the presentation? Mr. Herbert Kiza, maybe there is an email that will come after all these engagements from Vectra. Maybe they'll send you some highlights from the training, and that is it. And here I still have a few questions. How should a company approach the development of a compliance gap analysis? And what are the key factors that influence the prioritization of compliance areas?
Compliance is compliance. Okay, you can rate them depending on one, level of compliance, and then two, the consequences of what is going to happen. Then you can rate them. You can do a rating. Then you can start sorting one by one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
for example, it is uncouth to operate without a license.
Yes.
They can even get you within 1 day or 1 week. So you have to prioritize. We know we have limited resources, but we have to prioritize. Yes.
And then lastly, there is a question here. What specific measures should a business implement to ensure an auditor's independence is both perceived and actual, especially in closely held organizations?
I think that one I have explained.
People keep bringing in questions here. There's a comprehensive compliance framework in the context of modern business. How can an organization leverage internal audits to proactively manage risks rather than just detect problems after they arise?
Use technology. Use technology. You can leverage, get knowledgeable people. Also, have a tendency of being intentional to understand what is taking place in your organization. As some people, after becoming bosses, they fail even to know what is taking place in the factory. So, as a business owner, you visit the factory, at least make a timetable to visit it at least once a month or once a week. Just get in touch, get aligned. Yeah, because always these grappling issues are always there, and they are very easy to notice. Be friendly. Don't be friendly with your employees. Have an open book approach.
Now, lastly, can CNOOC work with a company that doesn't have an auditor? Or is it a must that every company must have an auditor? First of all, the internal auditor. Secondly, the external auditor.
Now, that question will be answered by the ongoing research on principle-based versus rule-based. Okay? Principle-wise, you should have an auditor. Rules-based, that's why you see organizations like URA are now pulling you by the neck for you, at least telling you, at least if you're having more than 500 do audits, and URSB now requests for the name of the auditor. So it is now a debate. A civilized society embraces principle-based. Then uncivilized has to be dragged to the rule-based approach. The rule says like this. This is what the law says. Do it. That's like that. So I believe in principle-based. It is the best way, because if it forces you to do something that you don't see the advantages of, we shall be really bad people. So it is principle-based wins, because it gives you good business. But what I know for CNOOC, as we're bidding, they will always request under procurement. At least the person in procurement will highlight that tomorrow, that at least they need audited books of accounts for a number of years. So you find someone has done audit just to tick the box.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Senoga Robert.
Yes, welcome.
As I told you earlier, we shall be having some other 7 days of training, coaching, and mentorship, and you'll be hearing from different coaches who will be here. Tomorrow we'll be hearing from a coach who will be training us on procurement, because it is also very important when it comes to dealing with the companies. So Mr. Senoga has taught us about EFRIS today. He also taught us about audit and accounting. If you know all this from the day we started on Monday, if you understand and you have picked a lot of data from what Mr. Senoga has been teaching, I know you'll be very good when it comes to doing business and working with a multinational like CNOOC Uganda. So in your last parting shot, I want you to say bye to these viewers. I don't know whether you'll be back here for some other time, but just say your last parting shot.
Thank you so much, Michael, for the moderation. We thank CNOOC for giving us this opportunity to come and present. We thank Vectra for selecting us as their consultants. We are really happy. At least this gives us a mileage as professionals, and also representing our professional bodies well, and our various companies. I'm available. I'm a Ugandan. I'll send Uganda. So if you think you would like us to continue the discussion after here, we are in Entebbe. Please come and visit us. We are ready to serve you. Yeah, from at SRS, Robert and Associates.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Senoga Robert from SRS.
Also, thank you for. I would like to thank our viewers for being patient for all these days. You know, it is not easy to be around for 3 days and you still have people watching you. Thank you so much. Please don't go away. We shall be here for other presentations and education. This is going to take more 7 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't go away. Be here and learn, relearn and learn. In case you have any other questions, you can email us at Vectra or info@srsrobert.com.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Robert. And it's been 3 hours of non-stop learning about auditing, about business, and about EFRIS. So I think you have picked enough and you have understood. If you've not understood, please continue. Our discussion continues on our YouTube. Ask your question on Twitter, still at Vectra. You can go follow us on Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter, because we have also our live stream streaming on Twitter. Send a message if you have a question. If you have an inquiry, send your message. We will, of course, get it and respond to you. Join us tomorrow at exactly 9, as we have someone from procurement who will be giving us very, very important data. Thank you for watching us. Let's catch up tomorrow, but keep sharing the live stream till everyone benefits from this. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Kingfisher oil fields development has evolved, reaching some significant milestones after CNOOC Uganda Limited and its joint venture partners signed the final investment decision. Land for the construction of different facilities was acquired and compensation was fully made. Cash and in-kind compensation, like recent houses for all families, were built and handed over to the project-affected persons, construction commenced for different aspects of the project, leading to the development of facilities such as the camps, well pads, the central processing facility, and feeder lines, followed by the delivery of the rigs and installation. Spudding was done in January 2023. There have been promising drilling outcomes, with 7 wells drilled in pads 2 and 3. Drilling operations, coring and on-site works are continuing, achieving total footage of approximately 23,000 meters. Other noticeable activities include a base station and permanent camp, solar turbine transportation, EPC 3-tank erection work, and EPC 4 pipeline trenching. CNOOC will actively promote the LPG integration plan, which will gradually achieve the strategic transformation towards a green and low-carbon energy supplier. A camp-integrated hydropower project has been set up, which will result in carbon dioxide emission reduction by 3,156 tons. CNOOC has continued to contribute to the Belt and Road, people-to-people exchanges, enhancing China-Africa friendship and promoting the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. CNOOC collaborates with various Ugandan universities to enhance graduate employment curriculum design and research. We have signed agreements with several institutions to support scientific research and develop talents in the oil and gas sector. CNOOC, in collaboration with 5 other Chinese companies on the Kingfisher project, spearheaded a drive that led to the donation of $500,000 to upgrade the infrastructure of the Entebbe Welfare School. This is the largest donation to education in Uganda.
On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sport, I would like to extend my gratitude to CNOOC Uganda Limited and the contractors of Kingfisher Oil Fields for your commitment to the cause of vulnerable and challenged children.
CNOOC sponsors international scholarships, sending Ugandan students to study in China. Under this program, a total of 11 students have been sponsored and 8 have since graduated and are currently working in the oil and gas industry.
This scholarship to me is a dream come true. I always wanted to receive a first-class education from a good school, and CNOOC has provided me with this opportunity, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
CNOOC focuses on training and certification programs for skills needed in the oil and gas industry, which promotes local employment and strengthens Uganda's logistics and industrial capacity. Over 150 contractors and more than 3,000 individuals have been trained in various oil and gas skills. The company collaborates with local vocational schools to provide welder training, significantly contributing to Uganda's professional welding sector.
They took the initiative to sponsor us who are underdogs, and they want to put us somewhere. We thank them a lot. There's nothing much we can give them, but maybe use the skills properly so that they can also feel they have done some impact in the Uganda we have now.
CNOOC Youth Employment Support Program has trained over 350 local youths in various vocational skills, improving their employability and living conditions. These trainings cover welding, heavy truck driving, heavy machinery operation, engineering construction, and other skills needed in the oil and gas field development, as well as driving, tailoring, and hairdressing, among others. CNOOC invests in projects to improve community living standards, such as providing clean drinking water to over 13,000 residents in Buhuka flats, carrying out medical camps and building resettlement houses with modern amenities for 56 households. We have also invested $620,000 in maintaining critical roads and enhancing public safety. Livelihood restoration programs include donating livestock and teaching scientific breeding methods. We also work closely with the Confucius Institute of Makerere University, supporting events like the Chinese Bridge Competition and the Sound in My Heart Chinese Song Competition. CNOOC also organizes activities to celebrate Chinese culture, such as the Spring Festival. These efforts enrich cultural communication and foster mutual understanding between China and Uganda.
CNOOC Uganda Limited is committed to education and capacity building to fulfill its vision of energy for Uganda.